Welcome, boys and girls. I've got a children's book for you. Actually, on the surface, it's just a children's book. Who else can love you? Things to tell your child, inner or outer. And I like to share this from the inner child standpoint. Outer children, I think we understand. The little one running around. But the inner child is something that I did not discover for myself until I was in my late 30s. See, I suffered from childhood neglect, and I grew up with a need to have some place to put my umbilical cord and fill a need that could not be filled by somebody else until I fulfilled it myself. And this book is like a celebration for me to finally get to the place where I could not only embrace my inner child, but that I could tell him something that he wanted to hear ever since he was born. So, what I'd like to do is read you how it starts and then show you what that represents. On the surface, it seems simple, delightful, but underneath, there's something more. The first page is, it's okay to be different, and it's best to be you. Just be glad you don't live in a zoo. Isn't that cute? But you know what's funny, or maybe not so funny, is that for me as a child, it wasn't okay to be different. I didn't even know who I was. How could I be me? These were things that I had to discover through my journey in life, and I'd like to share that with you. And realize that what I'm speaking of is not just on the surface. This line here, just be glad you don't live in a zoo. Oh, it's funny, it's humorous, and I've got pictures of zoo animals here, illustrated by my niece. But what is a zoo? And why is it a zoo? For me, my zoo was my dysfunctional home that I grew up in. The zoo was not a natural habitat for me. It was not a place that I could grow and be myself. Here's the next page. You could be a zebra, but they're just black and white. You're naturally colorful, brilliant, and bright. That was what I longed to hear. I didn't want to be black and white any longer. My thinking was black and white, all or nothing, on or off. And it took me many, many years to work through that and get to the point where there is gray, there is ups and downs, and they're not extreme. They don't have to be. And I can love myself through the process. The next line here, and I really love these animals. These are otters. You could be an otter just lazing in a pool. You're delightfully playful, curious, and cool. Well, that sounds fun. In fact, maybe I would like to be an otter just lazing in a pool. I think we all like that once in a while. But for me, growing up with a father who was a workaholic and a strict disciplinarian, there was no lazing. Lazing in a pool was a rebellious act. And so for me, I needed to give myself permission to say, it's okay to be lazy, to sit back, to let go of expectations of me. I can just be myself. And the book continues with poetic affirmation that I actually worked on quite a bit to find out the exact wording that resonated with my own heart. You could be a spider that I hope won't come near. You're adorably wonderful, special, and dear. And so I just see these things as something I could finally embrace and believe about myself. People could tell me these things in my teens, in my 20s, my 30s, and I would just brush it off. I would say, thank you, that's very nice of you to say. But did I walk away and believe it? The next morning, I'd wake up and have to start all over again, thinking that I had to do something. I had to perform in order to be accepted, in order to be lovable. And here we go with the jellyfish. I don't know if you know this about jellyfish, but they don't have a brain. They don't have any kind of a mind or anything like that. And I thought that was fascinating. So you could be a jellyfish, having no brain or mind. You're beautifully precious, gentle, and kind. And these words just warm my heart. And I want to share this with you. I want to share this with the whole world. And I don't know how else to do that except to participate in open mics like this and just tell everybody that these things are true. In fact, let me skip right to the end and say that I know you're all these things. Of you, these things are true. So who else can love you? Shout, I can too!